day, everybody. It is Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoyed this video, you should subscribe for more RWBY videos. And today I'm going to be explaining to you guys how to vote in the RWBY Volume 8 Oscars. If you do not know what the Oscars is, I would suggest going up in that YouTube search bar and searching up Calxiyn, the Oscars, a RWBY Volume 7 award show. And basically what that is I organized that award show last year with MurderOfBirds, and you guys voted in categories such as Best Character, Best Fight, Best Episode. And so it was basically a little play, little parody on the Oscars and other award shows, and it was to celebrate RWBY, and we're doing it again, and it is bigger and better than ever before. And so let us talk about how to vote, because if you guys did not vote last year, I mean, even if you did vote last year, we changed a bunch of stuff anyway, so you guys may need some help. Let's start with this rank system, because we did not do that last year. And I'm just gonna use a pretend example, and I'm not gonna use the characters or any of the categories from like the actual like poll, because I don't want to influence people. But let's pretend that on the poll, you had Calxiyn, and you wanted to vote for Calxiyn. You think that she should win, so you vote first place for Calxiyn. If 900 people voted for Calxiyn, Calxiyn would have won the category that Calxiyn was in, right? So you guys understand what I'm saying? But this year, instead of just voting for one character or one thing, like whatever is the case, like one episode, one scene, one character, one monologue, whatever the case, right? Instead of just voting for one, you're actually forced to rank all of the other ones too. And so even if you want Calxiyn to be your first choice, like you would have to rank everybody else. So you would put MurderOfBirds as your second choice, for example, and that Kaito Dan as your third choice, or maybe you'd put Dan as your first choice and me for your second choice. You understand, right? And so that is basically how the system differs, and this is to curb stuff like favoritism, or maybe people coming in and voting for a specific character or specific ship that maybe doesn't deserve it, right? Obviously, we can debate about that, but I think that that's a big problem with like voting in general, is a bunch of people coming in and just voting for something because they're like, I like this, I would like this to win, without actually thinking about whether it is, like, you can't just be deserving, you have to be worthy, right? Something like that. And so yeah, that is basically how stuff differs, and it's been very interesting for me. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you guys, but to see in the back end of everything, like what would win if we were just doing first choice, but what is winning because we are doing ranked choice. And it's been very interesting for me to look at, because we do see already situations like that where people seem to be voting for something just because it's like, again, like along that lines, like sort of like, oh, like we just want the ship to win, or we just want, these characters to win, like because we stand them, or whatever the case, right? But you can see that like with the general voting population, like that's an outlier, right? So if say again, like say no one was voting for Calxiyn except those 900 Calxiyn people, right? They get sort of outweighed by the people that did not have Calxiyn at all, because they don't think that Calxiyn should win, right? And so it's very interesting to see all that balance stuff. But let's just get into the voting now, because I think I've over-explained that. It's basically to make everything more fair. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go over here and you're going to use your little scrolly thing. I would suggest doing this on a computer. If you're doing it on anything else, you will have a bad time. So I would suggest doing it on your computer, and then you just go beep, boop, 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 boop. Oh boy, I'm not even clicking anything anyway. But yeah, so I'm just clicking like stuff at random, right? And you will have like problems if you put like, like say which, I just put it in first and fifth place. That's not a thing. But now I put that one in fifth place instead, and now it's all better. So you should look out for that. Make sure that your poll actually makes sense, and you're not just doing like, say you do this, you can't do this, obviously. And so yeah, I'm just picking at random. I'm not like telling you guys to vote for whichever, right? But yeah, this is just how it sort of works, and that's, you would do this or whatever you want, and then you would keep going. Now, these little videos are to help give context to things that people may not necessarily remember. Stuff like, the scores, which don't really have specific names. So you would listen to this, make sure you know what you're voting for, and then you'd go boop, 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 and vote for whatever you want. And this is like a new thing that we've done this year, is we've added categories such as score and, well, we had song last year, so not you, best lighting, right, best VFX. And so we wanted to put a focus on like the technical side as well, because we did do a lot of like, ooh, fight scene choreography and like voice acting and stuff, but that's not the only stuff that goes into making the show, obviously. And so we wanted to show some appreciation for the lighting people, the VFX people, especially because like, you guys know for me, I'm like, oh my God, guys, look at that rock, or look at that, look at that sky, or whatever the case. So I am definitely like one of the people that's a big fan of lighting and everything. And so yeah, you guys watch through Arnold's little video if you're not confident in what all of these scenes actually are, and then you'd vote. Same with VFX, you'd watch, you'd vote, and then the rest of them are pretty much like self-explanatory. I think the last one that has the picture is the merch glossary. And so, if you guys don't know, we're actually working with a bunch of other RWBY tubers this year. They're all going to announce categories. It's a big secret though, who's announcing what, but you guys may be able to guess who's announcing this one, right? Put your guess in the comments of who's announcing the best merch category. But anyway, and so yeah, this is the last one that has a photo, and so for merch you can see like this is the action figure collection, you'd press 1, this is the glass collection, you'd press 2, right? So I tried to number it because I made this graphic, so I tried to number it for you guys and help you guys out. So it's not a video like what Arnold was doing, but you can still look at it. So this was all of the merch that released during the volume. So yeah, and now we just have the regular categories that we had from last year, and so we have all of the actresses and which characters they play. This is all pretty self-explanatory. Again, you would just go like this. Well, not like this. Do not go like this in just a straight line. But you guys would just, again, like vote at your discretion, whoever you want, rank them, all of them. And yeah, that's basically kind of it. Oh, we have memes. Okay, so that was the last photo, actually, not merch. We do have some memes. Arnold has put some memes in a video. And so, yeah, we have best monologue. We didn't have that last year, and that was really good. We have best tearjerker moment, best twist, and so we got a lot. Best funny moment, we didn't have that last year. We did best relationship development instead of shipping, just so we could also focus on, like, the family and the redemption arcs and all of the other things that happened that's like not shipping, right? Like Weiss and her family, they had big moments. I think that, Ironwood and Winter, they had like an enemy, like comrades to enemy type moment. The Aesops had like a friendship moment, right? So we decided to do best relationship development instead of best shipping. We also decided to introduce minor supporting and leading. So we had supporting and leading last year, but we had to divide everyone a little bit further because you can't really argue that like Tyrion is in the same category as like Hazel. Like Tyrion and Mercury, they were there. Then they went away, right? And so we decided to give them at least their own little category of like the more minor characters so they would have, like they would get a fair chance basically. That's the other thing that you guys have to consider because I think a lot of people have been like, why are Yang and Blake supporting? And I'm just like, well, you also have to consider like if you put Yang and Blake, for example, like with the minor characters like Willow, Willow or whoever, right? We're just pretending. I'm not telling you guys who to vote for. Will they really get the recognition they deserve because Blake and Yang are in that same category? So we had to think of stuff like that as well. Like, if Neo is in leading, is everyone just gonna vote for Neo because they like her, even though she didn't have the same prominence as a character like Cinder? And so that's something that you guys have to consider as well, is that's why we kind of put some characters like in different places and stuff like that. We also had other considerations for that sort of thing. So like, for example, if you want to look at best character in a leading role, right, like obviously Penny had the biggest stuff going on. I don't think like what Penny had going on, or like her oomph, that's what I keep calling it, the oomph of Penny this volume, or even Emerald, was comparable to like the oomph that Weiss had. And so even though Weiss is like, in the title, that doesn't mean that she's always going to be the focus or the star in a sense, right? I don't think that Weiss was a star. And honestly, like, I think that Blake and Yang, and like, we did this as a group, so this isn't just like Calxiyn decided where everyone goes. No, we did this as a group, right? And so I think that Blake and Yang's big, like, moments to be the star were volumes 4 to 6. Like, I don't think that Blake has been the star for a hot minute, right? And so we also had to do those sort of considerations as well. Like, who was really starring, but who was here to serve someone else's development? So like Yang, for example, Yang served Ren's development, development, Yang served RWBY's development, right? But Yang didn't necessarily like change in a big way like a character like Winter did, or a character like Cinder did, or Penny did, right? So we have to have those considerations as well. And it's not even necessarily who was on screen most or who quote unquote did the most, because people were like, but Yang did this and Yang did that, but Yang didn't do it for herself in a sense. She did it for other characters. And so it's not even about like who did the most, because you can do a lot, but you can do a lot in the service of somebody else's like character development, right? Especially like Neo, like did Neo do it like in a way that she herself changed? Like I wouldn't say that Neo changed at all, but rather Neo sort of served what Cinder ended up doing a little later, right? And so yeah, that's basically how all of the categories go. So we can talk about it in the comments, but ultimately it's like we decided this as a group and it's too late. And so you know what I mean? Like obviously I'm willing to take like feedback on where we put who, but I'm just like at the same time like what can we do? Change it? We're not changing it. We already decided where everyone's going, and it's just for fun, so it's also like really not that serious. But yeah, and so you guys can vote now for characters and stuff. Then we have the antagonist. A lot of people were like, oh, why was Harriet in there? Well, we sort of considered her an antagonistic force for a big chunk of the volume towards like the Aesops and the Robin and Crow storyline, so we put her in there because like villain isn't necessarily synonymous with antagonist. It was just like who was the antagonist in this side of the story, and I think Harriet was an antagonist in the Aesop and like Crow and Robin whole like thing. Then we had best new character, and so we got a couple newly designed characters that was very funky fresh. We got best redesign since you know we got a bunch of new outfits and stuff. Best fight is over here, and then we have best new Grim, and then you press submit and then you're done. That's it. It's pretty easy. Yeah, I hope that helps you guys. That is basically it. Let me know if you have any questions, but yeah, just fill that out and your voice can be heard and you can participate in the Oscars voting. And that's it from me. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Hope that you guys will vote, and I will see you guys at the award show. Bye!